Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in every believer's life when the quiet seasons begin to make sense. When the delay, the rejection, and the pain reveal their purpose. You see, God is not ignoring you. He's positioning you. What you thought was a setback was actually the setup for divine elevation. This is your time, not because you fought for it, but because heaven decided it's your turn. What you called delay was never denial. It was divine preparation. God wasn't making you wait because he forgot about you. He was preparing you for what you asked for. You wanted promotion, but he needed to prepare your character first. You prayed for influence, but he had to strengthen your integrity before giving it to you. The delay was God's protection, not his punishment. While you thought nothing was happening, everything was happening behind the scenes. He was teaching you how to trust when the outcome was unclear, how to praise when the promise felt far away, and how to keep believing when nothing made sense. Every quiet night, every unanswered prayer, every closed door was shaping you into someone who could carry the weight of destiny. God had to build the strength in your spirit before he released the blessing in your hands, because premature elevation can destroy what patience would have perfected. You were never behind. You were being built. The waiting season was God's classroom where you learned endurance, obedience, and surrender. And now, the moment that once seemed delayed is arriving right on time. You are walking into what you once cried for, but this time, with wisdom, humility, and faith. That's why the delay mattered. It didn't just change your circumstances, it changed you. And that change is exactly what made you ready for the elevation that's unfolding. Now, there's a reason God pulled you away from certain people, places, and circles. The isolation you experienced wasn't rejection. It was redirection. God took you out of the noise so you could finally hear his voice. Sometimes he has to separate you to shape you. In the quiet places, he refined your thoughts, healed your heart, and renewed your purpose. While others were celebrating public victories, you were being trained in secret battles. It felt lonely, but that loneliness was divine strategy. You see, destiny is often prepared in obscurity. God hides his greatest warriors before he reveals them. The silence taught you to depend on him when no one else could understand you. It showed you that your value was not in being seen, but in being chosen. Every lonely night was a lesson in spiritual strength. You were learning how to stand firm without validation, how to pray without applause, and how to move without being noticed. The isolation wasn't to break you. It was to build you. God needed to make sure your confidence came from him, not from people. Because where he's taking you next, not everyone can go. The ones who left couldn't walk the path meant for you. In that stillness, God revealed your identity, renewed your faith, and prepared you for visibility. The isolation season was never punishment. It was God's private training ground, the place where he turned your weakness into readiness. Every challenge, every attack, every unexpected storm was not meant to destroy you, but to reveal what God placed inside you. The opposition you faced was confirmation that you're carrying something powerful. Something the enemy wanted to stop before it reached its full potential. When everything seemed to come against you, it wasn't because you were weak. It was because you were dangerous to darkness. The pressure you felt was the sign of divine purpose being activated. God allowed certain battles to show you that your strength doesn't come from comfort, it comes from confrontation. Each trial exposed your resilience, sharpened your discernment, and reminded you that faith isn't proven in ease, but in endurance. What looked like warfare was actually proof of your worth. Every time you stood firm, heaven took notice. Every time you refused to quit, your spiritual authority grew stronger. The opposition wasn't random. It was targeted, because your destiny is targeted. The enemy doesn't waste his energy on people going nowhere. You were fought so fiercely, because you were chosen so greatly. God let the storm come so you could see that he was with you in it, not watching from a distance. That's why every battle was both a test and a testimony. You were never losing, you were being strengthened. The opposition didn't break you, it built you. And now, the same pressure that tried to bury you is the reason you're being elevated. Nothing in your life is happening by coincidence. Every event, every connection, every closed and open door is part of a divine sequence. God moves in alignment, not in haste. The timing of your elevation has been carefully orchestrated, not rushed. When it felt like everything was delayed, heaven was actually arranging the perfect alignment of people, opportunities, and purpose around you. You're stepping into a season where everything starts to make sense, not because you finally figured it out, but because God's plan is unfolding right on schedule. The people coming into your life now are not random. They are part of the divine design meant to help you fulfill your calling. Every past disappointment was simply God's way of removing what didn't fit the vision He had for your future. You prayed for direction, and now you're seeing the path form before your eyes. What was once confusing is becoming clear. God is aligning your purpose with His perfect timing, because elevation without alignment would collapse under pressure. He's connecting you to the right season, not just the right opportunity. When divine timing meets divine purpose, doors open without force, and what's meant for you flows naturally. This is the moment where all the preparation, pain, and patience converge into purpose. You are not being lucky. You are being positioned, and when God aligns your season, no delay, doubt, or distraction can stand in the way of your destiny. True elevation begins where pride ends. God lifts those who remain humble before Him, not those who try to lift themselves. Humility is the key that unlocks doors no human effort could open. In a world that celebrates self-promotion, God still honors those who choose surrender over spotlight. He sees the one who serves quietly, prays faithfully, and stays grounded even when success knocks at their door. Pride whispers that you deserve more, but humility reminds you that everything you have is grace. When you choose to stay low, God can trust you to carry more, because He knows the weight of glory won't crush a surrendered heart. Elevation without humility leads to collapse, but humility builds the strength to sustain what blessing brings. Every time you chose silence over defense, patience over pride, forgiveness over revenge, heaven noticed. Those moments of obedience were shaping your character for what's ahead. God doesn't just want to elevate your position, He wants to elevate your spirit. The higher He takes you, the deeper your roots must go in humility. That's why He sometimes delays your rise, not to punish you, but to protect you from arrogance that could destroy you. True greatness is not measured by how high you climb, but by how deeply you bow. When you walk humbly with God, He exalts you in His perfect time. And that kind of elevation can never be taken away. You were chosen long before you ever knew you had a purpose. God saw something in you that others overlooked. He didn't choose you because you were perfect or qualified. He chose you because you were willing. Your heart said, yes, when others said, not me. Every part of your journey, even the painful ones, has been preparing you for this moment of divine assignment. You've carried an anointing that attracted both favor and opposition. But through it all, you remained faithful. Being chosen doesn't mean life gets easier. It means God trusts you with greater responsibility. He placed a calling on your life that can't be copied, replaced, or silenced. You were set apart for a purpose that reaches beyond your comfort zone. That's why certain doors closed and certain people couldn't stay. They weren't meant to walk with someone chosen for destiny. God doesn't choose the flawless. He perfects the faithful. What you've endured was proof that your calling is real. Every tear, every battle, every unanswered prayer was evidence that you're carrying something heaven intends to use. This season of elevation is not random. It's the fulfillment of divine selection. You are not here by accident. You are here by assignment. And the same God who chose you will sustain you. So walk with confidence, knowing you've been marked for this very moment. You were not just called. You were chosen, and that changes everything. You were not forgotten. You were forged. The waiting was your preparation. The pain was your anointing. Now heaven is opening the door that no man can shut. Step into it with courage, because you were chosen for this moment. And God is elevating you now.